Hey moviegoers, my name is Crunchy, and you're watching Tough But Fair Film Reviews. Today I'll be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA. Watch out for spoilers. In the wake of Avengers Endgame, Paul Rudd and his friends are busy being tonally inappropriate for a film that's supposed to set up a villain that's scarier than Thanos. When his daughter Cassie invents a portal to the quantum realm in her basement, because everything in the MCU gets invented in somebody's basement, Paul Rudd and all his friends get sucked through the portal and onto a blue screen soundstage where they will unfortunately spend the remaining 2 hours of the movie. Once there, they meet a bunch of wacky characters, who all do technically have names so that we can feel sad when they die. Kinda like when Jeff Winger snaps the pencil in half in the first episode of Community.
I can pick up this pencil, tell you its name is Steve, and go like this.
But I don't remember what any of those names are, and they don't matter anyway. Paul Rudd and his friends get captured by Rick C-137, who is the most powerful guy in existence unless you smash his doohickey. It turns out that Michelle Pfeiffer has already smashed his doohickey, so he would have been trapped on the blue screen soundstage forever if they had just decided to not make this movie. Rick C-137 needs Paul Rudd to shrink himself down to the even Quantumania realm to unsmash the doohickey. And so Paul Rudd does that, with a little help from product placement Paul Rudd. Afterwards, Rick C-137 is going to leave the blue screen soundstage so that they can finally film on location again. But the Avengers can't let that happen, because then they'd all have to fly to Georgia to fight him. So Paul Rudd grows to giant size and starts smashing even more of Rick C-137's doohickeys. Until Rick C-137 gets mad and kills a bunch of the people from before who don't matter. And then a bunch of cyborg ants run in and deflate all the tension by easily defeating Rick C-137, even though he's supposed to be scarier than Thanos. Finally, everyone goes home and celebrates with cake. Later, during the after-credits scene, the Citadel of Ricks assembles a whole army of Ricks and promises to actually do something scary in a future movie, maybe. Oh, and Bill Murray is in it for some reason, but it really doesn't matter. Jonathan Majors was good, but Kang the Conqueror was kind of disappointing. It feels like the movie takes forever to introduce him, and when he does show up, he doesn't really do anything. We get the other characters making these oblique references to an all-powerful him that always seems to be lurking just around the corner. I mean, he's on the dang poster, I don't know why they were being so coy. And then he appears, has a couple good monologues, and then gets defeated mostly by pluck. I don't know, I just don't see why the Avengers would have any trouble with this guy. Paul Rudd is still fun in the part, but the Ant-Man movies have all basically been comedies. And I don't think that's the vibe you should go for when you're introducing a new big bad. Paul Rudd never seems like he's taking the situation seriously, which means the audience doesn't take it very seriously, and I think that takes all the wind out of Kang's sails. The action ain't nearly as good as it was in the previous Ant-Man movies. The fun of a character that grows and shrinks is in watching them interact with a mostly familiar world that gets distorted through changes in size. That's how you get to see fun things like a Thomas the Tank Engine toy smashing through the wall of a suburban home. But since this whole thing takes place on a blue screen soundstage, which to be fair was probably necessary due to COVID protocols during filming, nothing about the world they're in feels that familiar, which means we're just watching people grow and shrink relative to wavy pink slime monsters, and that's just not as interesting. Overall, I'd put QUANTUMANIA on the low end of the Marvel tier list. It's a pretty straightforward blow up the doomsday weapon plot, and the big villain reveal that's dominated this movie's marketing just falls flat. There's a couple good bits. MODOK is good silly fun, but there's really not that much here to sink your teeth into. Of course, it's still required reading for the next phase of Marvel movies, so let's not kid ourselves that you're gonna actually skip it. But I'd give this wet-hot American Ant-Man a solid wait for it on Disney+. So, what did you think of Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA? Let me know in the comments about all the comic book lore I failed to research that invalidates all my criticisms. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on all the fresh, crunchy content. I'm Crunchy, and this film review has been tough, but fair.